I'm not saving money. I'm spending money, but you have to spend. And I have a responsibility to the owners of the hotel to come in with the right numbers. So I have the luxury of being able to balance my spreadsheets with the restaurant and having banquet facilities. And so we are able to provide a better product in the restaurant than any other restaurant in town by using sustainable, by bringing in products, flying in products from all over the world, and using local products as well. But I also have that luxury because of my volume in banquets to balance the spreadsheet. So
are you still using like the big vendors like Kraft and Lady Baltimore and all those kind of places?
Yeah, like I said, I have a responsibility to John Q. Hammonds, and I have for my banquets and for the hotel, I have to buy through Cisco, but I have the luxury of being able to pick and choose some of the products and having the buying. I spend probably $100,000 a month on groceries. So Cisco, when I ask them for something, they respond, and they're ahead of the curve. Just like Walmart is ahead of the curve with their sustainable, with their organics, their whole section. But they're just getting on board because they can see money to be made. But and Cisco's the same way. But they see a need, and they're supplying with that need, and the pricing is low too. The chicken that I'm getting now it's 15 cents a pound more expensive than I'm paying for the regular Tyson chicken, which is nothing, in the overall scheme. So that's a good thing about it. But like I said, I'm fully aware of we have to get on board. We have to know where our food comes from. Has everyone seen a movie called Food Inc.? Definitely, buy it. Walmart or Best Buy sells it. It's like a $14 video, and you watch it, and it'll open your eyes to what's going on in the pork industry, what's going on in the GMO, the grain industry, with Monsanto and all the rest of it that goes on.
They see the movie Fresh?
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. There's a few out there. There's a few good movies out there that really open your eyes to what's going on, and how the government's involved in manipulation of what we're doing. It's all about money. It's all about money.
Like I like to point out that my cousin used to work at Cargill in California, Missouri, okay, milking the turkeys for fertilization. And I used to like to ask people, how much do you think a fully grown tom sperm turkey weighs at Cargill? I've weighed this turkey. He weighs 280 pounds. Okay, the turkey that you're buying in the store today, that is 30-pound turkey for Thanksgiving. That turkey is 6 weeks old. That turkey has gone from an egg, hatched out of an egg, to a 30-pound turkey in 6 weeks. In Cargill, we butcher at 6 weeks of age, but the main tom turkey that they use to milk has been so filled with steroids, they genetically altered the tom, and he weighs 280 pounds. The second one weighs 180 pounds.
Right, and it's amazing because turkeys should be able to fly. Turkeys should be able to, and chickens. When you see the chickens in Tyson, and they're developing so big that their breasts, they just flop around in the cages, and that's all they care about. They turn them over. Like I said, bigger, better, faster. The faster they can turn them over. And like I said, I hit a turkey the other day while I was driving up 360 big hill over there by Steak and Shake, and this turkey came flying out of nowhere, and it was so big, and its head came right across the windshield, and I thought, and it got up and it ran back into the bush after I had hit it but it didn't. And I'm thinking to myself, now that's a turkey. That's what a turkey. There's a big old tom turkey that has legs and it can run and it can fly. It's funny that the government, there was a big promotion, I'm sure you've all seen it, about pork. Eat pork, the other white meat. Pork's not white, it's red. It should be red. It's supposed to be nice red, and it's amazing that people fall into this trap. They got it.
Poisonous too. Raw milk poisonous.
Oh, they have to cook it. You have to cook the medium well because it's poisonous.
It's gonna kill you. Killed my grandparents, 96, 98.
And we were at the hotel with the Circle B pork. We recommended it comes medium, and that's a nice. And it's red. It's a nice dark red meat. It's got a nice pink through the middle of it. It's amazing what goes on in the whole industry. But like I said, I'm glad to be able to come out and speak to you people about this and have anybody listen to it. We do, like I said, at the hotel, we're big into promoting this, Tyler can attest that.
Other than fillets, do you have a wish list?
Um,
You know, like if the person were to set aside a half an acre for something in particular. Or...
Yeah, whatever, you know, like I said, I would use the beef. I use as much beef as I can. I would use the whole side. I would, you know, for your ground beef, for your.
I'm talking more vegetables, right? I don't. Turkeys, yeah.
Yeah, well, whatever's, you know, whatever's crop we have, we use basically. You know, I can give you a list of stuff. I'm not a farmer, so I really don't know what, you know, with this area what really grow well. I use tomatoes. I use snow peas. I use pea tendrils. I use zucchini, squash, eggplants, and anything. And like I said, you know, to bring me what you've got, you know, that was a nice good challenge for me to be able to utilize that product. And you know, to set up at a farmer's market, to have people come into the hotel, and that's a platform for me when I go and talk to the guests. So I can say if they're local people, the guests, you know, well, you can go to the market, you can get those same vegetables. You go in and you buy a share of his crop, and you get, you know, so much a month. And I think that's going to be coming back. I think I'm going to see that more readily. There was a few guys up here that were growing organics and that were growing for me. But again, you know, the industry just swallowed them up, and I can only do so much, and you know, they can't survive.
You got to have a farmer's market there on the parking lot of Chateau and Delay.
Yeah, you know, I don't think that Steve Marshall would be opposed to that
That'd be
at all. Yeah.
Go out and just buy right there on the spot.
Yeah, and I don't think he'd be opposed to that.
Tell us a bit more about the slow food movement throughout the globe, all over the earth.
Yeah, slow food now, it's pretty much worldwide, and you'll find that, like I said, it's more about bringing families and people back to the table, bringing families to eat together, family gardens, I can remember when we used to go to Uncle Pete's house every summer. He had a farm, and we'd pick asparagus. And it was like the whole family got together, and he had 50 acres, and we spent, it was all, no, not all asparagus, he had corn in it. But when it was asparagus, he had cattle, he ran his cattle, but when it was come asparagus, and we would pickle asparagus, and we would can it and pickle it. And the whole family got together, and it was like a tradition that we did every year. And, you know, a family garden. And Grandma would pickle, and we'd talk, and she would give us recipes, and you know, it just goes back. We don't do that anymore, and we're getting away from that. We're losing the whole idea of you know, and it doesn't have to be much. Just a little small garden that you can take. My nephew was down from Toronto, and he has CPs in a wheelchair, and my wife's a gardener. We have a huge, massive flower. She's a companion gardening, so we got all this stuff. And her line is, there's no straight lines in gardening. All right, everything meals together, everything is together, and there's corn in this, and you know, the zucchinis are with the corn so it throws off from the, I don't know too much about it, but naturally throws off the bugs and whatever. But anyways, he wanted to have a little garden, so he couldn't get down to the garden, so we did a container garden up on the deck for him, and we had all kinds of stuff growing for him in the container, and he was happier than that. Now he's gone back up to Toronto, and he's got a container garden going in his house in Toronto. So it's just like, to actually see this stuff come from seed to grow, and all of a sudden he's eating something that he planted, he's touching it, he's watching it. It's really quite something to see a 11-year-old get excited about growing.
It's an addiction.
It is. And like I said, my wife's got me into it now, and it's just like, I do the hardscape. Okay, I'll put the hardscape down, and she's more the gardener. But I've really got excited about what comes up, what grows, and how she does it, how she manages things together. So it's exciting.
I'm just sort of putting my mouth in, but that's all right. Can you see and picture for us how the poverty, which is so prevalent right here where we live, can be overcome by people becoming growers and becoming interested in their own health and their own food?
People have to realize that, you know, you are what you eat. And like I said, with the cancer, with the dogs and changing their diet, it's all about taking responsibility for what you're eating. And I'm not going to stand up here and preach and say I never go out for a burger at McDonald's. I never do it. I stop, you know, if we're on the road, we're doing something, I'll stop, I'll grab a burger at McDonald's. But it's not something that we go out to eat. We cook at home. Every night we have a meal at home. I'm the first guy to go to Andy's custard for custard at 8 o'clock at night. And I'm sure that what's in the custard, you know, I don't want to see the ingredients just because I enjoy it too much. It's all about, you know, controlling your what you eat, how you eat it, and you know, taking that first step to doing. And you know, people say, well, I can't. What am I going to? I can't buy organic. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm tired of hearing about can'ts. When you go to, you can buy one thing organic, one thing sustainable when you go to the market. And you can find it in Harder House, you can find it in Country Mart, you can find it in Walmart. There's an organic section, and just buy one thing. And from that one thing, grow on and enjoy it and try it, and you'll see the difference. The milk, for instance, you know, the milk that you get here, the Highland Dairy milk, you go and you taste, what's it called, Farm Fresh. The Farm Fresh milks here, no steroids, no hormones, no antibiotics in the cows. There's such a big difference in that milk. And you know, you put the two together, you do a side-by-side test, taste, and whether you're tasting the 2% or the whole milk or it jumps out at you. Yes.
There's also a farmer up in Spokane who sells really wonderful grass-fed milk.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah.
Branson Dairy.
Okay.
yeah, James Rance.
Yeah. And
It's very low profile, and we'd like to keep it low profile.
Yeah.
He will deliver for people who need that. You know, people who are handicapped and so forth who can't get out.
Right.
But
He likes you to come and just fill your jar at the tank and
Yeah.
leave the money. It's $3 a gallon, which is very reasonable.
Yeah, it is. That's
And where is
that's
that
the
at?
deal.
he is in
Where?
Christian County.
Spokane.
And so, for those of you who have been following some of the so-called health department harassment there,
Yes,
just
my
please be discreet
fresh
about it.
breast milk
We'll
that she milks every
Right.
give you a
Wednesday.
phone number. Anybody wants it.
Right, right. And it's all about being discreet and about using, you know, the
It's
products,
tastes
like you were saying.
better.
I've had, I had to buy, I bought from a fishery, and I did the same thing. It was an Alaska fisherman, and he sold me a tenth of his catch. Whatever he caught, I bought, but I couldn't buy it because as a fisherman, he can't sell to the public. He has to sell to the Japanese fisher. Legally he has to sell to the fisher. The canneries. So what we did was, I bought 10% of his. He sold 10 chefs and 10 cooks 10% of his boat. So
You bought a share.
I bought a share in his boat.
Yeah.
And that way, and then he would flash freeze it on the boat and ship it to me. And I was a surprise. Once a month I got this surprise. It was guaranteed 250 pounds of whatever. And sometimes it was more, sometimes it was less. But it would be this wonderful package that would come in.
And he was sticking to the law.
We went through the law, and yeah, and you know, and then some, and I would use him for a year, and then the next year something had happened, and somebody ran him out, ran his boat down or whatever. But it's there's all kinds of people like that, and it's great if you can find somebody and you can utilize the product, get up there and definitely utilize it. But like I said, you were saying with the poverty and the amount of hunger, I hate to say it, but it's decisions. People choose to go and eat that way because it's cheaper. It's harder to stay home and spend the gas to drive to the market or to find something to go shopping, buy all that product, and then have to come home and cook it. And then, people are they're creatures of habit. It's easier to go buy the Happy Meals, the dollar meals, and fill their kids up for $10 than it is to go to the store, have to spend $18 or $20 and buy vegetables and dairy products and
There is a problem with the food for the farmers market. It doesn't go in the microwave.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That was one of the first things I did when I got to the Chateau. Tyler can attest to it. I got to the Chateau, we had 5 microwaves on all the stations. And people were using them and I thought, you're using AM radio waves to cook with? Come on, this is ridiculous. So we ended up we had a microwave bash on the dock, in the loading dock. We took all the microwaves out and took aluminum baseball bats. I let the cooks go to it on these. So and they loved it. It was a real relief.
Pay money.
Yeah. So not saying we have one microwave. We have one microwave in the kitchen, and it's used sparingly for someone will come in, they'll ask for something microwave. They'll have a little package they'll want microwave. So other than that, it's AM radio waves. That's what they are. Condensed AM radio waves. So
Say that again. Say that 3 times. Most people cannot understand it. Say it 3 times.
Yeah.
Say it 3 times. You have to say 3 times.
Most people cannot understand. They don't understand it. Most people cannot understand. They just don't get it. They don't understand. because it's when you see the results. So being in the business, and I get to see the results. And I'll tell you, when I went to Tyson, I went to see those, talk to those